Hi everyone. Today I'd like to look at one specific song and talk a bit about its history and impact. The song I want to talk about is one of the most popular pieces of American Origipop. Seriously, this song is so American and well known, immigrants to the US should have to sing it in order to pass their citizenship test. I'm talking about Take Me Out to the Ball Game. This Tin Pan Alley song was written in April 1908 by two men who had never actually been to a baseball game before. Jack Norworth, a songwriter, singer, and vaudeville performer, came up with the idea for the song while riding the subway when he saw a sign advertising a baseball game at the Polo Grounds. He wrote the lyrics right then while he was still on the subway. It allegedly only took him 15 minutes, and today those original lyrics, complete with Jack's humorous annotations, are on display at the National Baseball Hall of Fame. His lyrics include the iconic chorus that everybody knows and two verses that nobody knows. We'll talk about them later. The lyrics were set to music by Jack's friend, Albert Von Tilzer, songwriter, publisher, and one of the successful Tin Pan Alley Von Tilzer brothers. Albert's other hits include Oh by Jingo and Put Your Arms Around Me, Honey. Take Me Out to the Ball Game was published in May 1908 by Albert's publishing company, the York Music Company. The song was possibly first sung by Nora Bayes, an accomplished vaudeville performer and singer who had actually just recently married Jack Norworth. It was subsequently sung in several other vaudeville acts, and the first recording of the song was sung by Edward Meeker for Edison Records in September of 1908.
Take me out to the ball game, take me out with the crowd. Buy me some peanuts and cracker jack. I don't care if I never get back. Let me root for the home team. If they don't win, it's a shame. For it's 1, 2, 3 strikes, you're out at the old ball game.
This recording was actually selected by the Library of Congress in 2010 to be added to the National Recording Registry, which selects recordings that are culturally, historically, or aesthetically significant. I think this song works on all three of those criteria. Now, let's take a look at the song, its music and lyrics, and then we'll talk a bit more about its history. Take Me Out to the Ball Game has a similar format to many other Origipop songs. It has a piano intro, followed by a 2-bar vamp, then a verse intended to be sung twice with different lyrics each time, then the chorus we all know and love. Now, because not many of us know the lyrics to the two verses, let's take a look at them. The first verse starts, Katie Casey was baseball mad, had the fever and had it bad. So, the song is about a woman named Katie Casey who loves baseball. Just to root for the hometown crew, every Sioux, Katie Blue. The term sou, a coin of French origin, was at the time common slang for a low-denomination coin. Many modern versions have changed it to say every cent Katie spent. So essentially, she spends all her money to go watch baseball games. On a Saturday, her young beau called to see if she'd like to go to see a show, but Miss Kate said, no, I'll tell you what you can do. So her boyfriend wants to take her to a show, but she would rather go to a baseball game, and tells him so through the iconic chorus. The second verse continues telling us about Katie Casey, and states that she saw all the games, knew the players by their first names, and told the umpire he was wrong all along, good and strong. I love that idea that she argues with the ump, probably about a bad strike call or whatever, just like modern fans do. Then it continues by saying that when the score is tied 2-2, Katie Casey knew what to do, and to cheer up the players and inspire them, she leads everybody in singing this song, and that leads right back into the chorus. The lyrics of the chorus are very well known. I don't know that I need to add much commentary on them. The only things I'll mention are that it's common to replace the phrase home team with the actual team's name when sung at baseball games today, and that the Cracker Jack brand was copyrighted in 1896, though variations of it had been around since the early 1800s, and it was commonly sold at baseball games, leading to its inclusion in the song. While the chorus is the most well-known part of the song, I really like the verses as well. I think it paints a really fun picture of this cool lady who loves baseball and really gets into it. I'll talk more about the social implications of this idea in a bit, but first, let's look at the music. The song structure for Take Me Out to the Ball Game is interesting. The verse and the chorus are exactly the same length, 32 bars each. This fits perfectly with when it was written. Songs from the earlier era of Origipop often had much longer verses and a shorter chorus, while later songs were reversed with shorter verses and a longer chorus. This song from the middle period has an equal length verse and chorus. The verse and chorus are also well matched and have a symmetrical feel, which is due to their identical form. See, the music of the verse and the chorus is A-B-A-C. That is one musical section A, followed by a second B, then back to the first theme A, then a third one C. Now, the verse and chorus have different melodies, but both essentially follow this form. We can recognize this as we listen to it, and we'll listen just to the melody here and ignore the accompaniment. Let's start with the verse. Here's the first A section found in the first 8 bars of the verse. Here's the second section found in the next 8 bars. Then the next 8 bars returns to the theme of the first section. And the final 8 bars introduce the final C section. Again, the chorus pretty much follows this same format, but with different music. Here's the first A section found in the first 8 bars of the chorus. And here's the B section. The second A section in the chorus is slightly altered from the first. The beginning has a pickup from the previous measure, but otherwise the first 4 bars are the same. The next 4 bars are the biggest difference. Instead of being an exact copy of the first A section, it's a bit of an inverse, as the notes are ascending instead of mostly descending. Here it is. Then the final 8 bars, the C section, ends the iconic piece. Overall, I think the music and lyrics work well together and have both contributed to the popularity and legacy of this memorable song. Interestingly, Jack Norworth actually changed the lyrics to the song in 1927. The well-known chorus stayed the same, as did much of the second verse. Only the first verse was substantially changed, but the main idea of an enthusiastic female fan was retained. He really only changed the woman's name from Katie Casey to Nellie Kelly, and changed a few words here and there. I haven't been able to find out why he did this, except maybe to just extend the copyright and get more royalties. And while most of us don't know the original verses very well today, some who do see the song because of them as somewhat of a feminist song. The fact that the female main character of the song, Katie Casey, is an assertive, independent, and knowledgeable baseball fan during this era when women couldn't even vote and sports were seen as more the realm of men, indicates to some scholars that this song is a great feminist anthem. These scholars believe that this idea is also supported by the fact that Jack Norworth wrote the song while he was having an affair with actress, singer, and famous suffragist Trixie Fraganza. At the actual time he wrote the song, Jack was married to popular actress Louise Dresser, but was having an affair with Trixie. Then, around the time the song was published, he divorced Louise, but instead of marrying Trixie, as both Trixie and Louise thought he would do, he instead married his Ziegfeld Follies co-star Nora Bayes only 1 week later. She's the one who I mentioned earlier, who was the first performer to sing Take Me Out to the Ballgame. But some scholars maintain that it was his relationship with Trixie and her feminist character and actions that influenced the character of Katie Casey. Incidentally, Trixie Fraganza also sang Take Me Out to the Ballgame and was even featured on the cover of some copies of the sheet music, such as this one, which we saw at the beginning of the video. But regardless of the meaning of the 2 verses or their social message, the chorus of the song is what has truly become a part of American culture. And this is thanks in part to the fact that the song has been sung at baseball games for decades. But this didn't start happening until many years after the song was first published. Take Me Out to the Ballgame was played at a ballpark for the first known time in 1934, at a high school game in Los Angeles. And it was played for the first time at a major league game later that year, during the 4th game of the 1934 World Series. And there are some accounts of it being sung at baseball games after this, occasionally during the 7th inning stretch. However, it wasn't until the mid-1970s that singing Take Me Out to the Ballgame during the 7th inning stretch became a widespread practice. This was due to famous sports broadcaster Harry Carey. While Carey was an announcer for the Chicago White Sox, he would often sing Take Me Out to the Ballgame to himself in his booth. But one day in 1976, the team owner, Bill Veeck, surreptitiously turned his microphone on in the booth so that the fans could hear Carey. When he realized everyone could hear him, Carey was surprised and didn't want to keep singing. But Veeck persuaded him otherwise, convincing him that once the fans heard him singing, they would join in. And they did. Carey began regularly singing the song during every 7th inning stretch, accompanied by the stadium organ and the fans, and it caught on, and soon became a widespread tradition at all baseball games. Overall, this song is one of the most iconic pieces of Arigipop. It has been featured in more than 1,200 movies, television shows, and commercials, including a 1949 film of the same name, starring Frank Sinatra and Gene Kelly. and has been recorded by more than 400 artists, whose arrangements include classical, jazz, barbershop quartets, blues, and others. Take Me Out to the Ball Game is considered the third most popular song in the United States today, after Happy Birthday and the national anthem, and has even made a cultural impact in Japan, where, in addition to ballparks, it can be heard playing in public transportation or in elevators. While Albert von Tilzer and Jack Norworth eventually did see a Major League Baseball game, with Albert first attending in 1928 and Jack going in 1940, neither man would probably have guessed that their simple Tin Pan Alley song from 1908 would ever evolve into such a cultural symbol and one of the most well-known pieces of original popular music ever written. Thanks for watching.